debt. It can feel like a never-ending cycle of past due bills, high interest rates, and even collection calls. You want a way out, but most companies only deal with certain kinds of debt or offer quick fixes and even dangerous solutions that can destroy your credit and put you right back where you started. At Family Credit Management, we do things differently. First, we'll review your credit report to access who and what you owe. Then, we'll create a repayment plan that's in budget, lowers interest, and eliminates fees. We'll give you a roadmap out of debt once and for all by consolidating all your unsecured debt from all your creditors in our debt management program. You pay us once a month, and we work with your creditors to take care of the rest. For over 20 years, we've been helping clients get back on track to financial independence. Now it's your turn. Get your free quote today.
Get control of your debt, your finances, and build the perfect credit profile. Keep in mind that when you're thinking about your credit, what happens, whatever bad, whatever you've been through, whatever derogatories, negatives, anything that may be appearing on your report, it is not the end of the world, because your credit score only looks at the last 24 months worth of history. Your credit report is going to follow you around, and it is there for like 10 years and sometimes even longer than that, depending on the information that's there. So keep that in mind. If you are stressing about your debt, your finances, this is the perfect place for you to be, because today we are focused on just your mental health when it comes to finances. And a lot of people don't realize what type of strain this actually is on you. There's so much stress that goes into it, whether you are living paycheck to paycheck, you're trying to make ends meet, you're struggling with collections, or even if you feel like you've got it all under control, but you just don't know what's happening with your money. So that's why I want to just make sure that you are able to relate those topics together, because yes, your stress, your mental health, that is very important. Your mental health, it should be top priority. But guess what? We've got that stress with the finances pulling on it. So we want you to look at it, get everything under control, reach out to Family Credit, find out the resources that are available to help you. They do have some amazing resources, Family Credit, with the certified counselors. There are things like this, My Spending Plan. This guide is amazing in just giving you some information and key tips and helping you to develop your spending plan. Because guess what? A lot of our stress has to do with our budget, getting things under control. And the first page just asks you, what are you willing to do? What are your goals to make this a priority, to accomplish setting up your budget? Because guess what? It takes so much off of you. That stress, knowing that things are under control. You've looked at your bills. You're not just living your life without a clue. You know what money you have, and you know that you are in control of it. A lot of times I hear people, when they overdraw their bank account, they say, oh, the bank messed up the money. The bank did this, the bank did that. But guess what? We're the ones that are in control of what the bank has. We put the money into the bank account. Be it your job, be it at an ATM, or you just depositing it into the bank, Zelle, QuickPay, whatever you're using, you're the one that's controlling those finances. So it's a lot of times hard to wrap our brains around, like, it's not the bank. It really starts with us taking a deep dive at our finances and at ourselves to change the perception that we have of the money. And money doesn't always need to have a bad connotation, doesn't mean to be negative all the times. Even growing up, a lot of times we thought about money and we just really, either we didn't have it, we didn't know how to use it. Nobody talked about it. And so that's why it's very important that we start talking about it now. So what are your stressors in your finances? Again, number one stress comes from not even knowing what you're dealing with and becoming overwhelmed with everything that you have. So the best thing to do, of course, is to start by looking at what is in our finances, what income we have, what are the expenses, and what are those things that we are uncontrollably doing and we're not even aware of that tug on our budget and rip it to shreds. Yeah, a lot of people out there say, yes, I do make decent money. I make really good money. But in the end of the month, I don't know where my money is. I don't have enough to make it. So when you are looking at your budget, there's a great place for you to start. Of course, you need to know what's your income. How much money are you making? What are you actually bringing in compared to what you're making? Because those are two different numbers. When you think about your income, yes, we know what amount you're making on your paychecks, and we know what you're supposed to be paid, what your annual salary is, or what your hourly rate is, and how many hours you've worked. But how much are you actually bringing home? That is the key. You need to use that number of what actually is coming in the door as the number to base your budget off of. Now, when you take a look at your salary too, and you're starting to look at your bills, now if you have access to a computer, I want you to go online to familycredit.org and request the My Spending Plan. And as soon as here it is, on My Spending Plan, there is a chart at the bottom of one of the pages. You've got to get this book so that you can find it, right? But it tells you just what percentage of your paycheck that your income coming in that you receive should go towards each and every single expense. That's the perfect place to start when you're looking at your budget, because guess what? If you are paying more than half of your income towards rent or towards your mortgage, then your budget is going to suffer. Your budget's going to be tight. When you're thinking about your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, all of that should only be about 30% of your actual paycheck in order for you not to stress about your finances. Now, a lot of times when you go to get a mortgage, they talk to you about your debt to income ratio and what your debts are versus your income. And they like to see you stay in somewhere between 45 or less. Sometimes they let you get away with 50, but think about it. 45% of your income going towards your mortgage payment or your rent, that's a lot. And it is going to be hard for you to maintain when you have other things as well that you need to pay out. So if just that payment is based off of that, just think about it. You've got to do something to kind of get some money going, or you need to look at reducing your expenses. When you think about your car, you've got your auto payment, your car payment, you've got gas, you've got insurance. That alone should only come to about 20% of whatever it is you're bringing home. Again, we're using real numbers now, so we're not going off of our annual salary. We're not thinking 20% of our annual salary. We're thinking 20% of the money that we bring inside the house. And yes, we want it to grow, but if we don't look at these real numbers, we won't know what our real budget should actually look like. So start by doing that. Again, going to familycredit.org or calling 800-994-3328 and getting the spending plan sent to you. And did I tell you that it's free of charge? Yes, they will send it to you directly in the mail at no cost. You can get this, you can get some other material, and you can actually request more than once. You can get some for everyone in your family to sit down and do a budgeting plan. This is the perfect place to start, especially with the year wrapping up. We want to get ready for next year too. We need to start right now thinking about our finances, thinking about how much stress have we been under this year when we didn't know whether we were going to pay our utility bills, whether we could work or not, how we were going to make it. So we sit down and we start trying to plan this out, getting our foundation, getting this together right now and getting it under control. It just takes a little step, a little time, and a little bit more each and every single day, and you'll get to where you need to be. When you're thinking about the amount of money that you should actually be putting on, let's say going out, spending time with your family, that's 20% of your the amount that you're bringing in. And you need to know what that amount is too, because how many times do we go to the grocery store? Do we go to the mall? Do we go out with our friends or take the family out and we're spending money and everybody's just thinking, oh, I want, let's have fun. We want to do this. And then we're like, oh my God, I just spent more than I thought. You know, those are those things, those eye-opening things that if I would have known how much this was actually going to cost and what my cap was, I would not have overspent. So you want to get into that mindset where you can think about those things up front, because money doesn't have to control you like that. You are the one that's in control. And I want you to realize that and know it. Again, perfect place to start. Okay, familycredit.org. That's what I want you to do. Now, when you're going through these things, we know what our income is, and now we've looked at our budget. We've gotten the breakdown of what our actual budget should look like, right? You're knowing that this is how much should go towards housing. This is how much that goes towards my car notes, my insurance. I've got this for my time out. Guess what? I need to do, first and foremost, 10% of whatever it is that you're bringing in needs to be put into savings for you. And then if you want, tithe, that should come out of that 20% that you're using for your family fun and all of that entertainment. Yes, put that with that too. You need to make sure that you're paying yourself, putting something into savings, putting something up for a rainy day. Whatever you want to call it, at least 10% for now. Hopefully, as you go on and you're sticking with your plan, you can increase that, put more towards it. If you ever get a raise and you're making it off of what you have now, in the future and you get a raise, you can take that amount and put it towards what you're saving too. You can put that towards your retirement fund. There's a lot of different things that you can do to stop yourself from spending money unnecessarily. You just have to be disciplined and put those stoppers into play and think about my budget, my finances, my spending plan is what's important to me. And I do not want to be in a situation like I was in 2021 or 2022. I need to be better than that. And so this is what I'm doing to work towards it. Let's sit down, finish this spending plan. Okay, so now you know how much is allocated towards each and every single expense. Now, I want you to think about all of your bills. We talk about tracking our utilities and going through the utility bills a lot, and we need to write it down. When you think about your expenses, a lot of times there's the amount that we know, or we think we know. Actually, we think we know the amount we have planned, and we get that bill and it is totally higher than we ever expected. Now, sometimes utility companies, they may have billed a double month. They may have added in charges. But what I'm saying is that this should not defeat you and stop you. Okay, you see that something didn't align. So when you're doing your budget, you need to have a column there on your budget that says, this is what I planned. And then once you get that bill, this is what I actually spent. Then you can go back through it later on and you can compare and see, okay, where was my budget off? Where did my money go? And that way you'll know each and every single time, okay, I have this planned, but maybe I need to increase that amount. Or maybe I thought my lights were going to be $70 and they ended up being $130 twice. Maybe I need to call the light company or come in and see what's going on. Maybe I need to see if I can get on a budget plan or if there's any utility help. Maybe I need to do something just a little bit different so I'm not stressing out and I'm not surprised by these changes and letting them overpower me. So, with us doing that, we're able to take control of our finances. We are able to look at them a little bit better, a little bit closer, and say, okay, this is what I planned for, this is what it actually is, and boom, now I've got money left at the end of my budget. That's where we want to get to. So when we're looking at our budget, of course, we've got those expenses, those housing expenses, utility bills that we think about all the time. We've got our car notes, but what about those things that we don't even think about? Those things that aren't as important to us too that we need to plan for. There could be medical bills. There could be maybe our insurance is billed differently. Maybe there are school expenses for our children that we don't think about. Of course, groceries from time to time. And with the prices fluctuating, you want to be consistent. You may have went to the store one week and you spent $100, bought the same items, and now it's $150 or even more. So you want to be able to budget for those things and plan and say, okay, this is what happened this time. Now let me see what I'm going to do about it so that it does not control me next month. And you make those adjustments. So maybe there's something that you can cut down on utilities. There's so many people that are looking at the cable companies and saying, okay, how can I cut this down? You contact them, reach out to them, see what help they can offer you. Is there a way for them to get your monthly payments smaller than what they are now? Now we know they want you to pay more. That's how they make money. They don't profit off of you paying less. They want us all to pay more. But our budget dictates what we can and cannot do. So if your budget doesn't allow for a high cable expense, then is this something that you can cut out? And if are there other things that you can do? Look at different companies and see if you can find something cheaper here or there. Those are the things that you really want to put some thought into, and maybe track the way that you spend for the next few months. Track your utilities and see. You can also develop, you can write everything out, or you can do an Excel spreadsheet on the computer, or you can get a tracking system where you can actually track the dates that your bills are due. You can track the amounts that you're spending, and each and every single month you can see what actually went out and where you need to make some changes. And guess what? Our friend here, My Spending Plan, yes, they have a place inside of you where you can list the actual bills that you have along with the amounts that you're going to pay, and you'll be able to keep the dates. So you can actually list it here. So if you need something to write on, it's here. You can develop a spreadsheet. Like I said, there are other different tracking tools. You can talk to a counselor and get some more tips and tricks on how to save, how to budget properly. Again, available at familycredit.org. And you can reach them at 800-994-3328 because our counselors are standing by to help you. You've got to use them as a resource. A lot of the stress that we have is because we do not know who to ask or where to go for help. So this right here is a gold mine. This will save you. This will help you plan for your future. It'll alleviate so much stress. And guess what? It's got some other tips in here too on how to deal with things ongoing. Guess at the end of the day, when you do your budget, the goal is to look at your income, look at your expenses, and have some money left over. And if you don't right now, it's not something that should, or you can't let it depress you or get you down. Now we know what our situation is, so what are we going to do about it? We are so creative. We are so able to come out of our finances on top and think about, okay, I know I have a regular job, but maybe I can do this. I'm creative. Maybe there's something that I can make or sell or do to increase my income. And that could turn into a whole nother business just for you. And if you need help with that too, feel free to reach out. Again, there's some tips here that you can use. There's some great websites that you can go to save money on. This thing has so much in it. Plus, Family Credit has so many other tools that will help you with your finances as well. So after you figured out what it is that you're working with, you got some money left over. Now we want to put that money to good use for you. What can you do? Number one thing, you should be saving as much as you possibly can. You should be working towards paying off your debt as well while you save. Now, if you've got some bills, you've got collectors that are after you, we know collection agencies, they stress you out. It stresses you to see a bill come in that you know right now you can't pay or you don't know where it came from. But that's what this help is there for as well. Taking an inventory of everything that's coming in so you know what's going on and you're keeping good track of everything that comes in because we don't want it to stress you out. Again, your mental health is very, very important. And there are resources that are there to assist you. So I want you to think about that as those things come in, there's help out there. So if you're dealing with those collection agencies and you don't know what to do, you say, man, I just cannot talk to them. They call, they harass, I block the numbers. I don't even know, there's so many numbers calling, I don't even know who it is. Start keeping track of that. Keep track of the numbers. If you get some information, you get those letters, get those in, save them. Call a counselor, a credit counselor that can help you with that and help you navigate and see what's going on. And then you may say, I don't even know what's on my credit. I don't know where to begin. Yes, counselors are there to assist you. They can help you by going over your credit with you to see what you have and help you set up a plan to get things taken care of. That is the best thing that is out there available to you. Counselors at 800-994-3328. They're going to help you and walk you through whatever your situation is, whatever your finances are, whatever you're dealing with that's stressing you out. And then again, these tips, these tools like the spending plan, Personal Finance Made Easy is a whole book on just financial topics. I'm sorry, it's more than a book. It's an actual course that you can go through and use that book to empower yourself, to learn more about finances and put yourself in a better situation, better place than you've ever been before. So those tools are there, they're available. There are people out there to help you. And then you want to look at these bills that are coming in. How can you make those stop? What can you do? If you notice that they're collection agencies, collection bills, or are they medical bills? There's some changes that have come up recently that deal with our credit report, that deal with collection agencies and medical bills that will make things better for you. Did you know now, starting, at the beginning of the year, those agencies that are catering to the medical, you're getting all these medical bills back after back after back, they will have to wait 12 months from your date of service before they can even send those to a collection agency, which means now you have time to work out a payment arrangement. You have time to pay on it, to keep it in-house. Did you know even just $5 on a large medical bill will help? Because guess what? If you're putting something towards these bills and it's just a little bit right now, tomorrow that balance is less. And you think about that, maybe you can only do a little bit at a time right now, but it will go a long way in helping you rebuild and helping your finances and helping you stress less. Because guess what? With those little payments, those creditors won't be calling you and harassing you because they've gotten something. And yes, you're working on paying those down and paying that off. If you're struggling with medical bills, again, reach out to those medical facilities, reach out to the networks, the hospitals, and talk to their billing department. Ask them for charity assistance. Get that help because it's available, and not a lot of people are taking advantage of it, but anyone, no matter how much you make, can apply for charity assistance when it comes to medical bills and you needing to get your finances in order. A lot of times you can't afford those medical bills and you can't pay them. Well, this is there to help you before things go bad, before they get on your credit report. Yes, you can reach out to them. Get that application. They may ask you to send them your W-2s, your tax returns. You might need to provide a statement of what it is that you're going through. But at the end of the day, they will do something for you. Be it that they can set up payment arrangements for your medical bill, or they can write a percentage of that medical bill off, which will reduce the balance. Or sometimes, in a lot of cases, they write the whole balance off. But you will never know until you ask them. So yes, reach out to the the billing centers. Get that 800 number or whatever number that you need to dial. Call them and ask for charity assistance because it is there, it's available, and they're there to help. And again, it will help reduce the stress that you are going through. Our mental health, again, we want to keep that in mind. A lot of times we've got all of these stressors and there's just little bitty things that we can do each and every single time to make things a little bit better for us. So after you've done that, you've checked out those collection agencies, those bills, you've gotten some help from a counselor at 800-994-3328 or familycredit.org. Then you want to look at, see what are my actual spending habits? What am I doing to bust my own budget? So then you start to keep track of your finances because now you're being, you're thinking about it more. It's on your mind. You're in control of your finances, so you're the one handling things. You're thinking, I'm not going to be spending my money like this. Yes, I do want to get this right now. I do want to eat out with my friends, but guess what? I want to save towards a home, or I want to buy a new car, and I want to buy the car cash. I want to save this. And I want to grow my money. Or I even want to start a business. So I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to work on building my credit, getting my budget under control, and then going from there. These are great ways for us to look at what we're doing and pay attention to it. And then we can start plugging in those spending leaks. So a lot of times our budget busters include things that we do, such as how many times do you go to the gas station? Do you pay at the pump or do you walk inside? I always suggest paying at the pump. Walking inside is pretty dangerous. The reason why I say that is because you spend money that you didn't even realize you were spending. And sometimes they may have 3 for $2 drinks, or there's some fruit at the front, or there's the pastries that look good. And that's extra money that you had not planned on spending. and your gas that you were getting, you've gotten your gas, but guess what? You just spent an additional $5 or 10 or 13 or 20 and you didn't even realize it. But when you go home, that money's not in your pocket anymore. You won't be able to use it because you just spent it unnecessarily. What are some other things that you do? Maybe when you go grocery shopping. Do you shop when you're hungry? That's a huge one, because a lot of times when our stomachs are empty, we walk through the grocery store and we see those things that we probably wouldn't even buy. We see higher priced items, we're waiting in line, and their end caps are totally full of things that we never even thought about. I mean, when you're in Walmart, do you really need a lighter that lights up, or a spinning pen, or, you know, all the magazines that are there, the candy that's higher priced right there at the end cap than the big bags in the aisles? Those are some things that we need to actually think about. Again, a lot of times we bust our own wallets without even thinking about it. And if these are things, we looked at our lifestyle, we looked at those things that we're doing, and we constantly are aware that we're doing them, but we don't know how to get rid of them. A lot of times, instead of maybe trying to get rid of them altogether, see if there's ways that we can reduce the amounts that we're spending. You can reward yourself by just mentally playing a game with yourself, saying, okay, I'm not going to spend anything now. I'm going to wait 4 days before I buy something for myself. Then at the end of the 4 days, you're able to buy something cheaper than if you were to buy something each and every single one of those 4 days. No, you can do those things to reduce the spending, to see what it is that you can cut out in your budget. And also, when you're out there shopping, maybe you may say, well, I'll only buy items that are on sale, or when I'm looking at a product or an item that I want for myself, I'll do some research to see where I can find it cheaper, to see if there's a coupon out there. So those are some things and some ways that you can actually look at what you're doing. Now, sometimes before we even get there, you may say, well, I do catch myself from time to time spending money, but it's not that bad. It can't be that bad, right? I mean, I don't know where my money goes. I spend something every now and then, but it's not bad. I should still have enough left over after I do that. There's a couple of different ways you can attack this and go about just making sure that you are aware of your own habits. Again, this is going to help with our development, our mental health, our living a stress-free life. So when you think about it, this is what I want you to do. One of the things that you can do is what's called the envelope method. And yes, it's very old school, but I want you to try it. Over the next, let's say, if you get whatever your pay period is, if you get paid every week, every 2 weeks, every month, I want you to take whatever you spend anywhere, whatever receipt you get from there, I want you to stick it and put it in an envelope and not even think about it. While you're going through this, I want you to take that envelope. Again, you're not thinking about the purchases or anything like that. Then I want you to track your spending. We'll go over a little bit more of how this is going to be effective next time. But this way, at the end, right when you get paid, you look back in this envelope and you can actually see what it is that you spent your money on and where that money went. I'm telling you, this is an eye-opener. We'll go into a little bit more details next time, and we'll talk about some more different ways to track your spending habits, other tools that are out there for you to use. And I want you to go online, familycredit.org, or call a counselor at 800-994-3328. Really enjoyed talking with you, and I will be back soon so we can share some more and get our finances together. Again, take care.